Hello and welcome to the International Climate Webinar Series featuring interviews with top experts and leaders. Join us as we explore digital prosperity with Sheilah, Birgen, Director of Innovation Driven Markets at the Global Digital Corporation Organization. With over 14 years of lighting up Africa's tech scene, she is a powerhouse for entrepreneurs, a master connector, and a strategic expert. She's dedicated to boosting digital growth for everyone, and she is a major player in driving African innovation forward. She's got the brains and the passion to make a real change happen. Welcome, Sheilah, with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be part of this discussion today.
Thank you, Sheilah. Let's start on a light note now. What superhero, name, and superpower for an African digital green data? Can you imagine about that?
Wow, that's a very good question. Wow. I think for me, it would definitely have to be a superhero who is a woman. I'm very passionate about supporting women. She is from a rural village, and she has the power to be able to give people knowledge. Like if she blows the wind and everyone gets knowledge and they understand things that they don't understand. For me, I think knowledge is very powerful. And so my superhero will definitely be someone who has the ability to change minds. So I think, I don't know what I would call her, but that would be what I would imagine.
I join you and support this idea, a wise old African woman spreading knowledge to everyone. Great. Yeah. Thank you. If you could create a viral social media platform to promote both digital literacy and eco-consciousness across Africa, what would be for you this viral social media?
Yeah, for me, it would be for children between the age of 6 and maybe around 16 or 17 years. And it would be to give them the historical occurrences of what has happened, especially in relation to climate and how that has affected or the changes that have happened. And then, of course, foretelling what would happen in the future. I would really focus on the younger population as opposed to typical social media channel, for instance, that we have now. Make it interactive, have challenges for them doing things that would impact the climate positively. So that would be the type of social media, like interesting challenges. Let's see how many people will plant trees, how many people have installed solar, how many people are cleaning the rivers and using natural resources to benefit themselves and conserving the same. So that would be my social media, targeting young people, it's fun and interactive, and focusing on both the past and foretelling the future so that they can act now.
Beyond finance, Sheilah, what crucial support accelerates digital adoption for sustainability across the region, you think? Beyond finance.
Yeah, I think one of the main things that we have to always remember or consider is infrastructure. If you don't have infrastructure, even if you have finance, sometimes it's difficult for you to be able to grow, to use the right tools and all of that. So I feel infrastructure is quite critical, and infrastructure requires both government, private sector, and communities now to be able to not just use it, but to utilize it accordingly. So I would say infrastructure is critical. The other thing that I feel is quite important, I'm very passionate about knowledge, and I feel it's when there's distortion in information or misinformation or disinformation, then you lose the sense of the actual information. So I would say information is also very important. When I was growing up, we used to have clubs in school, in primary school. We used to call them 4K clubs for conservation. And we would have small pieces of land where we would plant different things. And every week we would follow through that. And I think somehow we've lost essence of things like that are very important. It might seem small, but it impacts the knowledge and the importance of children growing to respect and conserve environment on them. So I
Absolutely.
would
It's
say
not
those two are
small.
very important. Yeah,
It's not small. Small things make big impact. Every
agree.
day, a small step will go far.
I agree.
Next question, Sheila. What do you think the key actions that can be done to enhance African women's participation in digital transformation?
Wow, I have so many things to say. I think about this.
Let's say three main.
Three,
Three.
three main things. I think the first one is we need to be able to provide access to, if it's to finance, to knowledge, to infrastructure, to whatever. Access is very important. African women receive less than 5%, for instance, of funding in the technology space, and in the green and digital financing space is even much lower. So I think mechanisms need to be put in place to provide access for women. I think secondly is this skill mismatch. You find that a lot of the people playing in the informal sector are women, but unfortunately they're not included in the digital transition or transformation. And so there's a skill gap there that needs to
Mhm.
change. So definitely I think education, if it's literacy for both digital and green initiative or green technology trainings, I think that is the second bit. And the
Uh-huh.
third bit I think is policy. I don't even need to say anything about that. I think national digital and green policies are critical, and especially from a point of incentives and procurement, to be able to allow more women-led businesses to participate in the economy. So I would say those are three main
Thank
things.
you, thank you. This is another question is linked to women always. What is
Yes.
the average digital progress you have seen of African women vs in versus the global average of women access to digital? What do you
I
see?
would say because we use a lot of social media for business, for communication, and for community, it's grown significantly. I wouldn't say it's hardcore technology, but it's still use of technology. So, for instance, you'll find people sell on WhatsApp or Facebook and different social media platforms. So, I think because of that, the average is a little bit high. However, because of lack of access, again, infrastructural issue, if you cannot access internet, then you cannot use, internet, or if you cannot afford internet as well, it becomes an issue. So I think it's high in terms of people operating within the social or commerce space, but generally, I would say slightly low. It's grown significantly, I think, in the past 10 years, because a lot of
Mhm.
African governments have put infrastructure, but it's still slow. But I would say it's moving a little bit faster than the other continents, but also because we have a young population in the continent. Africa
Yeah.
has the youngest population in the world. So I think also because of that demographic, a lot of them are using social media, and so it's taking the number up.
I will. Our time is flying by, and I will jump directly to another question. What are the biggest hurdles and challenges you are seeing for African startups to scaling up?
One of the biggest challenge we have in the continent is cross-border expansion.
Mhm.
There are 54 countries in the continent, and each of those have, their own separate sovereign laws and national policies. And so for you to scale from one country to another, you have to adhere to those national laws. And so it means for you to be able to scale from one country to the other, to the other, to the other, you have to constantly find a hurdle from one policy hurdle from one country to the other. So I would say that is one of the biggest challenges. The second one, I think this one is spoken every other time, is financing. I think we need a different financial instrument, or smart financing, if we could call it that,
Mhm.
or just a different instrument to be able to fund African startups, because they are very different. So I would
Mhm.
say those two are the main challenges: cross-border because of policies, and financing because of the financial instruments that are there currently.
Thank you. That the solution we can extract from these hurdles is to boost the regional collaboration.
Absolutely.
High.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Our last question is we will finish on a light note as well. Which
Okay.
eco-friendly gadget would you give an African leader to inspire its green policy, to inspire him,
Uh,
if you have
wow.
one?
If I was to give an eco, I would say an electric car, to be honest. Um, yes, because I mean they move a lot. They have a lot of African leaders will go with a big entourage. So I mean that's a lot of pollution, to be honest. So I would say that it's something that they would use on a frequent. That would be one. But if I was to do something else, I would give them. There are these notebooks that I've seen that are very nice. They have seeds inside. It's a book, you can write on it. But when you're done, when you throw the paper, it
Yes.
uh, it grows to be a tree or a flower or whatnot. That would be the second. It's not a gadget, but it's something that I would give them too. So I would say those two would be my top.
I want to thank you, Sheila, for joining us. I loved having this discussion with you, and
Thank you.
I will ask you to come back.
Yes.
If you can, October 16 at the
Yes.
third discussion on African green transition and digital transformation. And until then, have a great and good health and
Thank you. Thank you.
continue your work.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Have a good one too. Thank you for having me.